Happy Wednesday, everybody. Hopefully you guys are having a good week so far. And we'll give a couple minutes here for other folks to jump on. But hopefully you guys have had a good week. It has been a beautiful day today. Hopefully you guys will be able to be outside a little bit today and enjoy a beautiful day. A great weekend this past weekend in church. And we're so thankful that God continues to bring both our church family back safely, as well as we've seen many guests over the past few weeks as well. So praising the Lord for that, and also praying for that to continue. And make sure you get on to the church website and you can register there to be able to save your spot there. I know some of you guys are trying to get in that 9:30 service, which is filling up a little bit earlier. So the earlier you get on that during the week, the better chance you have of getting there and making sure that everything is fairly separated and social distance and all that good stuff. So you can go to the church website, newhopect.com, and right on that homepage, you'll see a big button that says reserve a seat or your spot, and click that, and it'll take you to the place where you can register there. Take you just a few seconds to be able to do it, but it really is a big help to us in making sure that we are gathering safely and doing everything as we should. And we're so thankful for all of you that are able to continue doing that. And hello to everyone that's commenting. Happy Wednesday. Glad you guys are here. Bernice, Karen, Sarah, my brother-in-law, Ashley, all you guys. So hopefully you guys are having a good week. And we'll jump into God's Word tonight in just a minute. Just a couple of things we're going to continue to pray for. We saw Bob yesterday. Bob came by to the church to kind of talk through some things with Justin and I regarding the financial world. It was good to be able to see him. We're going to continue to pray for Sue. Now going kind of as she's recovering now from COVID, still at home, and now she's battling some vertigo stuff. So we just definitely want to continue to pray for them and for Bob and Sue. It was neat for him to be able to come in and see the progress on the facility and things like that, because they haven't been able to get out and be around. Jeff Bowers, awesome, good to see you too, Jeff. So we want to, good to see you. I guess I can't see you, but continue to pray for the Scovilles. And continue to pray for Rich Cooper. We mentioned on Sunday that Rich's mom passed away. Tomorrow evening, from 5 to 7 are the calling hours, and it's at Phelan Funeral Home, which is on Midgeon Avenue. If you don't know where that is, you can find it online. But would love for some of our church family to stop by and greet him. And then Friday at 11 a.m. there's a memorial service that's taking place at Northwest Hills, which is downtown. I think it's on Prospect Street there, downtown Torrington. And that's at 11 o'clock. So would love if you guys are available to drop in and just kind of wish, give Rich your greeting and your prayers and your love. He's a big part of our church. And if you've ever been to a vacation Bible school or something like that at our church, Rich is a driving force of a lot of those things. So we definitely want to continue to pray for him, his family, and support him during this time as well. Well, we have been going through the book of Proverbs, really kind of verse by verse, chapter by chapter, for the first 9 chapters. Last week, we kind of veered away from that for 1 week to try and understand how we should read the book of Proverbs. What we're going to do tonight is we're going to start a new kind of emphasis from Proverbs, which is going to be a little bit more topical in study, which kind of take a particular area of study and then kind of see what the entire book of Proverbs has to say about that particular topic. The next 4 weeks are going to all be about our words. All about our words, all about how we communicate. And Proverbs has much to say about how we communicate with one another, whether that's in person or whether that's through means like Facebook or YouTube that we can connect with during the pandemic. They have a lot to say here about how we communicate with each other. And so what we're going to do is we're going to break this up into 4 weeks, okay? And I'm going to call them, kind of focus each one. The first one tonight is going to be called Shut Up, okay? Next week is going to be called Listen Up. The week after that is going to be called Speak Up. And then lastly will be Pray Up, okay? So shut up, listen up, speak up, and pray up. They get nicer as we go along. So tonight we'll start with Shut Up, okay? So we're going to start in Proverbs 26, but we're going to bounce around, like I said, really all throughout the book of Proverbs. Proverbs 26. Hey, Jen, good to see you. Proverbs 26. And that's kind of where we'll begin tonight. So, again, a new kind of emphasis for us. Instead of working through it verse by verse, kind of taking a more big picture look at our communication, our speech, And tonight, kind of the big idea is this: harmful words can damage relationships and reveal a heart that is out of tune with Jesus. Harmful words damage relationships and reveal a heart that is out of tune with Jesus. We've all heard the phrase, "Sticks and stones may break our bones, but words will never hurt me." And we all know that that is not true, right? Physical wounds often heal long before the emotional wounds, long before the wounds that were caused by someone's words would heal. There are words that some of you heard 20, 30, 40 years ago that still haunt you. When you hear them, your stomach turns. Or there's words maybe that don't haunt you, but from someone said to you, maybe they're words that haunt you because they're words that you said to somebody else, right? Words that you really regret saying and wish you could have back. Words are powerful. Words like, "I hate you," or words like, "I love you," or words like, "You will never amount to anything," or "I'm so proud of you." Those kinds of phrases, those kinds of words change people's lives. Words change history. You look at phrases like, "I have a dream," or "Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall," right? The words that can shape history. But words can also shape eternity. John 3:16, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him would not perish, but have everlasting life." Jesus is Lord. Romans 10:9, "If you confess with your mouth that Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart that God hath raised him from the dead, thou shalt be saved." There's power in words. The tongue holds the power of life and death, Proverbs says. Proverbs 18:21. The problem is that while our tongues contain this power, we struggle to control them. We try to, we work hard to, but we just can't do it. And a lack of self-control when it comes to our tongues will destroy marriages, will destroy families, will destroy friendships. We blow up on our kids. We continually interrupt our spouses. We constantly nitpick each other. We repeatedly bring up past mistakes, or we betray a confidence. The results of those words are catastrophic. As James, the brother of Jesus, observes, with our tongues, we bless God, and we can also curse men that are made in his image. Solomon understands this power, the power of words, and he warns us about them repeatedly throughout the book of Proverbs. We know this. There's not a person watching this tonight or tomorrow or next week that doesn't need to be convinced of the power of words. There's not one person among us who has ever thought, "I really wish I hadn't said that." We all struggle with using harmful words. And we've all had someone else use harmful words that has damaged us. Let's look at what Proverbs says. Okay, what Proverbs says about harmful words, and let's see if change is possible. All right, step number one. Number one, Proverbs says, don't use harmful words. Don't use harmful words. That sounds pretty simple, Andrew. Well, let's look at Proverbs 26. Okay, Proverbs 26. Proverbs describes a lot of different kinds of harmful speech, and what we're going to do for the next few minutes is kind of work through a few of them, and it includes a lot more than swearing. Like, obviously we shouldn't swear, we shouldn't curse, we shouldn't do those things, but there are a lot of ways to talk that are destructive or harmful outside of just cursing, right? Let's look at what Proverbs says. First, the first kind of harmful words we're going to talk about contentious speech. Contentious speech. So let's look at Proverbs 26. Let's look at verse 21. Okay, verse 21. As coals are to burning coals, and wood to fire, so is a contentious man to kindle up strife. Proverbs talks about contentious speech or quarrelsome speech, that there is a kind of speech that loves to stir up conflict, loves to stir up drama. Have you ever met someone that just loves drama? Maybe it's you. Maybe you love the dramatic, right? We can speak in such a way that stirs up conflict. When we love to argue, when we love to disagree, we think it's cool to constantly criticize or constantly act like we're smarter than others by insulting what they're doing or how they're believing. That an argument can be on any topic under the sun. We're ready to argue about anything. We're contentious. The contentious person, the contentious tongue, loves to argue about sports or sitcoms, okay, Bible or politics. We just love to argue. And a lot of times we can start our conversation with, well, actually, that's not really the case, right? You can usually find this guy or this lady commenting on Facebook a lot, right? That we actually, this is what you say, but actually, this is the case, right? We're contentious. Unfortunately, we also frequently see this not only in Facebook, we see it in churches at times. People who love to complain about what other people wear or grumble if they don't get their way. Nothing seems to be the way they like it, right? Everything is always negative. Nothing is to their liking. We love to spread dissension at times or division and stir up trouble to get what we want. We even make ultimatums sometimes and say, well, if things don't change this way, I'm just gonna, I don't know, I'll have to leave the church, or I'm not gonna be your friend anymore, or I'm gonna do this. If I don't get my way, I'm gonna remove myself from the situation. We can stir up contention with our mouths. You know, we can break apart a church family without ever doing anything more than talking. It doesn't always take physical labor. It doesn't always take a hammer and, you know, a sledgehammer to break apart a church. We can do it with our tongues. We can do it with our communication. And Proverbs says that we should avoid contentious words. Second grouping of harmful words we're going to look at what we'll call perverse speech. Okay, perverse speech. Wisdom is meant to deliver us from perverse speech, or we'll say devious speech, okay? Perverse speech is speech that distorts truth or distorts reality. Proverbs talks extensively about this, that really perverse speech is not the same thing as deception. Perverse speech is a distortion of truth. The person using perverse speech may and usually does think that what they are saying is true, not just a bold-faced lie. Perverse speech could include things like false religions or false ideas. False religions will tell you distortions, like, you know, if you kill infidels, you get this payoff, or if you believe in Jesus, he'll make you healthy and wealthy, right? A false understanding of truth. The category of perverse speech could also include situations where we call sin a good thing. Call sin a good thing. This claim leads people astray. Look at Proverbs 24, verse number 24. So flip over a page in your Bible. 24, verse 24 says, "He that saith unto the wicked, Thou art righteous, him shall the people curse, nations shall abhor him." Basically, calling a sin something other than sin, he says, is perverse speech. Calling unrighteousness righteousness is perverse speech. And so many in our culture and our world are doing this right now with 1,000 different areas where we're choosing to tiptoe or choosing to call something the Bible clearly says is sinful, and we're choosing to waffle on whether or not it is a sin or not. We do the same thing in 1,000 different areas. It's perverse to call sin anything other than what it is. Perverse speech also includes not just the calling sin a good thing, but it includes the justification of our sin. Proverbs 30. Okay, turn over a couple more pages. Proverbs 30, verse 20 says, "Such is the way of an adulterous woman. She eateth, wipeth her mouth, and saith, I have done no wickedness." Basically, committing sin and then acting like our sin is not sin, or we justify it like it's not that big of a deal, or it's not that important, or it's not a big sin. Perverse speech justifies our way of life. And this could manifest itself in 1,000 different areas. With our mouths, we can rationalize and minimize and excuse our sin. And Solomon says one of the ways we should reject using our tongues, we should reject using our words, is to justify our sin, is to justify our wrongdoing. Why do we do that? We do it because we want to live how we want to live. We want to do what we want to do. We want to go where we want to go, right? We want to avoid repentance at all costs. We want to live life on our terms and be able to say, well, I'm still a good person and I still do a lot of nice things. Instead of trusting in Jesus to justify us, we want to prove ourselves that we're good people, right? Solomon calls that perverse speech. So he says, avoid perverse speech. Next, avoid flattery. Flattery. Look at chapter 26, verse 28. Chapter 26, verse 28. It says, a lying tongue hateth those that are afflicted by it, and a flattering mouth worketh ruin. Flattery it's smooth talk, okay? It's smooth talk. It's talking about yourself. It's talking about how important you are, right? And allowing yourself to be the or going up to someone else and choosing to use words solely for the purpose of flattering them, of making them feel better about themselves, not to encourage them, but to gain something from them. It's dangerous, right? Also, now, kind of going along with flattery, we can see self-exaltation. That flattery is going to try and make others feel better about you by what you say about them. Self-exaltation is trying to make others feel better about you by what you say about yourself, right? So often self-exaltation is seen as good or necessary or how to get ahead in our culture. We have to talk about ourselves. Or maybe you know someone who's guilty of, no matter what the conversation is going towards, they turn it back to themselves. Why do we do that? We do it because we're either insecure or we want to exalt ourselves, right? The gospel cures both of those things. So we don't need to use our mouths for flattery or self-exaltation. Understand, don't use harmful words. Or harmful words like contentious speech or perverse speech or flattery or self-exaltation. Solomon says, put these words away from you. In a much more not nice way, he says, shut them up, right? Remove them from us. Why? Well, number two, not only should we not use harmful words. Why should we not use them? Because harmful words hurt relationships. Harmful words hurt relationships. Walking in foolishness in regards to what we say or how we communicate has all kinds of negative consequences. One of the main ones being it can destroy your relationships. This is pretty obvious. You look at Proverbs 17. Proverbs 17, verse number 9. It says, he that covereth transgression seeketh love, but he that repeateth a matter separateth very friends. Basically saying when you gossip or you spread things about other people, you are spoiling friendships. You're spoiling friendships. You are separating friends. Those who constantly stir up arguments, they're divisive. They're annoying for us to be around, right? Those who deceive, hurt their neighbors. Harmful speech ruins relationships. It ruins relationships. But it's more than that. It's not just that being a contentious person will cause conflict and divide groups, although it does. It's not just that flattery ruins marriages and families, although it does. It's not just that deception ruins friendships, even though it does. It's not just that gossip divides friends and hurts people's feelings. It does. It's not just that bragging makes other people not want to be around you, even though it does. The biggest problem is that harmful speech not only damages your interpersonal relationships, but harmful speech separates you from a thriving relationship with God and invites judgment. It invites judgment. All of the temporal consequences of broken relationships are a foretaste of destruction. Jesus says in Matthew 12:36, a very convicting verse to me, that each of us will be held accountable for every careless word that we utter. How many times have we just said something off the cuff, those careless words? He says that we are going to give an account for them. Verses like Proverbs 10:31, where the mouth of the righteous will produce wisdom, but a perverse tongue will be cut off. 19:9, a false witness will not go unpunished, and one who utters lies faces destruction. Understand that these harmful words hurt your interpersonal relationships. I don't know why I don't have any friends. I don't know why no one wants to be around me. I don't know why I don't have any close relationships. Maybe it's the way we use our words. Maybe it's the way that we talk. Maybe it's the way that we communicate. Are we gossiping? Are we dividing? Is our mouths the source of those broken relationships? And understand, not just human relationships, but our relationship with God can be damaged by the way that we use our tongue. We have to be careful. We have to guard ourselves and guard our lips because they can bring great destruction. So we have to remove harmful words. Why? Because harmful words hurt relationships. But there is good news. Okay, and the good news is that forgiveness and change are possible in Jesus. Jesus never once sinned with his mouth. He never harmed anyone with his words. Can you imagine that? He never did. Never did an off-the-cuff remark come out of his mouth to damage someone. He never let deceit slip from his lips. He fully and perfectly lived out the commands of Proverbs in regards to our words. There's not a person watching this tonight that can claim that. We've all been guilty of these things, of deceiving others, of flattering, of self-exaltation, of all these things. We've been guilty of them. Jesus, not once. Not once. And yet, he took the final judgment to pay for our harmful speech. That off-the-cuff remark, that swear word, those things we know we shouldn't communicate, those things that we know are wrong. Jesus took that final judgment for us so that you and I can find forgiveness in full. The one with no deceit in his mouth died for deceivers like me. The one with no self-exaltation in his mouth died for the braggadocious you. It's amazing. The humble died for the bragger. The reconciler, the great reconciler, died for the contentious among us. To the degree that the truth of the gospel grips your heart, you will no longer need to lie. You'll no longer need to gossip or slander or brag. You'll no longer need to exalt yourself with your words because Jesus gives grace to the humble. You will not need to justify yourself before Christ because in Christ, we've already been justified. I don't need to rationalize my sin because He's forgiven me of my sin. I don't need to lie to get others' approval of me because I have the approval of Jesus. So he says, first of all, week 1, shut up. Remove these harmful words like flattery and contentious words and perverse speech and bragging and flattery. We've got to remove these from our lips. Why? Because they damage our relationships. They damage our interpersonal relationships. How many times have husbands and wives hurt one another, not with fists, but with words? How many times has a parent wounded their child, a child wounded their parent with their words? We know they damage relationships, but because of the perfect Jesus, who fully embodied what Solomon is saying here, perfect wisdom when it came to how to communicate with others, how to speak to others, the one with whom no deceit lies died for the deceivers. And because of that, we don't have to go through this life continuing to use our tongues to damage. Words are powerful. They're powerful. The tongue is difficult to tame. But there are words that can overcome our sinful and uncontrolled tongues. There are words like Romans 8:1, there's no condemnation of those who are in Christ Jesus. Words like Galatians 5, that the fruit of the Spirit is self-control. Those words can conquer our propensity to use our tongues to damage, to use our words to bring destruction. Growing up, I was never a big dude, okay? I was never a big guy when I was in high school or junior high. If I got in a fight, I would just run the opposite direction. It wouldn't go well for me, okay? I was just a smaller kid. But I always knew that I was blessed with the ability of I don't know if it's blessed, but I was given a quick wit, right? And I just knew that I may not be able to hurt you physically, but I can use my words in such a way that'll damage, right? We have to fight those urges. We have to fight those urges to constantly criticize. Fight those urges to constantly insult. When someone shares something with you, you don't have to share with everybody else and continue to gossip about others. We can hold our tongues, control our tongues. And for those moments where we fall short, and those moments that our tongues go away that we wish they hadn't, right? And our words continue to say things that damage our relationships. We know that forgiveness and a fresh start is offered because of the perfect Jesus who died in our place, who died for our wicked tongues, that we might be able to use our words to encourage and bless others. So week 1, shut up, okay? Remove from us these contentious words. Next week, we'll continue in the study on our words as well. So we'll stop there tonight before I go for too much longer. But hopefully we understand that our words can, yes, be used to bring great truth and encouragement. But here in week 1, we realize that our words can be used to bring great damage. And we have to guard our tongues and watch them before they hurt the relationships that we care about the most. Good to see you guys. Let's see here. Jen. Hey, Jen, thanks for jumping in. Bernice. Audrey, good to see you from New Hampshire. I don't know if that's how people in New Hampshire talk, but that's how I choose to imagine people in New Hampshire talking New Hampshire. Karen, good to see you. Awesome. So hopefully you guys had a good, that's my mom and dad. What's up, Brownings? Hopefully you guys have a good rest of your night. And if you'd like to volunteer to help on Saturday for our next work day, you can sign up at newhopect.com/reno, or you can reach out to Pastor Justin, and he will get you all set up with the things we need to get done this weekend. And he's got a good long list of things that we're working towards in the new auditorium. So if you'd like to come out on Saturday at 10 a.m., you're welcome to. We'd love to have you. And then don't forget, Thursday, tomorrow night, the visitation for Rich Cooper's mom. Friday, the memorial service at 11 o'clock. Also, this Saturday, for those of you guys who know, Thomas Davies and Melissa Melarano. Thomas plays the guitar for us on Sundays. They are getting married on Saturday, so we want to congratulate them. And church family would be a great idea to celebrate with them, bring them a card or something. I think they'll be gone this Sunday, but whenever they get back and celebrate this new family unit being formed in our church family. So we're excited about that. And I have the opportunity to marry them on Saturday. So look forward to that as well. And we'll either see you Saturday morning at the workday, or we'll see you Sunday morning. Make sure that you get on there and register for your service and get everything saved. So you got your seat reserved for you, especially with that 9:30 service. Okay, so get in there early. But God bless, guys. Bonnie, we all do. But love you guys. And if I can help you, shoot me a message, and we'll see you guys soon.